Hi, everyone. It's nice to see so many of you here already tuning in. For those who don't know, I'm Pauline Navas. I work on the community space here at Vercel. If you're tuning in for this Vercel community session and you would like to join us in the chat, head over to community.vercel.com and you should see a banner there that is advertising this session. So if you click on that and then join the community, click going, the chat should open for you. And if you are going to join in the chat today, don't forget to adhere to our code of conduct. So today I'm really excited about this session because for the next half an hour, you get to hear us talk about community. And I said we because it won't just be me yapping for 30 minutes talking about community. I'm super excited to have Cap, our head of developer community at Vercel, join us today. So let us add her on. Hi, Cap. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you. I tried to write in the chat, but I think something happened. But I was gonna write aloha, so I'll just do it here.
Hi, everyone. I'm seeing people in the chat now. Again, if you want to join us in the chat, be sure to join community.vercel.com and click going in this event box. So, Cap, do you want to give a quick intro on yourself and then we can get started?
Yeah, so I'm Capsev. I am originally from Hawaii. Now I live in Denver. Very different, but I feel like I'm more mountain. Like I like the mountain more than the beach, which but I just came back.
Controversial.
I know, right? But yeah, I am the head of developer community at Vercel. I've been here about 8 or 9 months, and I love it. I got into tech about 9-ish years ago. I used to be a flight attendant. So if you're on
I
a flight,
remember when you I remember when you first told me that I was like, "Wait, what?" That is
be nice to your flight attendants. That's all I
yeah.
want to say.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And honestly, it feels like Cap is honestly one of those people, just for everyone, everyone's info. When you joined, it already felt like you'd been here for a long time. Like you're clearly just embedded into the Vercel like organization and also just culture. And it's great. Oh, we have some people in the chat saying, oh, so Roxy has said, I was told I was too short to be a flight attendant years
So can
ago.
I tell you why? I know why. And
Oh,
Roxy, you can probably confirm this with me, but it's true. You have to be able to get the emergency equipment that is at the top. And if you can't reach it, you're too short to be a flight attendant.
today I learned. There you
Yeah.
go. I did
But
not know that. I could never be a flight attendant as a result. Wait, we're the same height, Cap. That makes no
you
sense.
could. Yeah,
Oh,
you
right.
could.
Okay.
Yeah. You're good.
That's
If you
amazing.
want to change careers to flight
Yeah,
attendant, you're
there you
fine.
go.
You're fine.
I'll be up there in the skies. Amazing. Well, for everyone who's already in the chat, feel free to tell us where you're tuning in from today as well. So to get us started, Cap, could you tell us, like, if you could describe the Vercel community in a couple of words, what would that be?
So you asked me this prior, and I've been thinking about it. And I feel like the one that always comes to my mind is creative, because I feel like creativity is the most important thing right now because we have AI doing a lot of like the general stuff. And the Vercel community has never let me down in their creativity. Like everyone's just very creative. Everyone's thinking of these new ideas, and it's already been done before. Like forms have already been done. Platforms for hosting have already been done, but there are creative ways to do it, and that's where like the human aspect comes out. It's just a very creative community. That's my one word. I didn't do words, but creative.
That's a really, really good one, especially when describing our V0 community right now. I feel like every single day when I log on to X or even within our own community platform and Reddit these days, I'm spending a lot more time there. People are sharing so many cool projects where I'm like, wow, you really need to think outside of the box to like build this. And now code isn't the thing that is like make like putting people back. It's just
Yeah.
you're only like held back by your imagination, which is great to see.
Mhm.
As Roxy also just said in the chat. Amazing. I love how engaged everyone is here. This is great. So just to let everyone know, if you do have questions for us, throw them in the chat and we will get to that as well during this session. For me, I think my words would be locked in. And I said this to you earlier, Cap, but for me, so primarily part of like my responsibilities in working in the community at Vercel is looking after this platform that you're all chatting on in community.vercel.com. And I have seen all sorts of like different people from our different customer bases. So whether they're hobby, pro, enterprise, or if they're an entrepreneur or they work at bigger companies or smaller startups. I think one of the things that really bring everyone together in our in the Vercel community is just how locked in everyone is. Like everyone just wants to figure out how to maximize the features that we have on Vercel for their app. And there's, again, it links back to what you said, creative ways to build things, and it's just been super inspiring to see. And in my experience in community, I've not really seen that elsewhere. Everyone is like really brought into our mission and our ecosystem and really want to like make the use of everything. Awesome. So that's a really great icebreaker. I feel like we can yap on about that for more for like hours, honestly. But I guess one of the things that has been like top of mind for me, and something that one of the reasons that we set up this stream in the first place, is to really understand like what are the community teams that exist at Vercel and how do they differ? Because community is one of those, like, I would say, job roles and job descriptions that can really mean a lot of different things. So what does the developer community look like? And yeah, then I will share my team stuff.
Yeah. So when I first started, we made this like diagram where it was like a funnel and I was the top and then Pauline was down at the bottom of the funnel. And I'm getting like the greater developer community. That's who I engage with. And then I pass them on to Pauline and they're in good hands, you know. But it's supporting them where they're at. It's open source programs, it's events around the world, it's the Meetup SDK I created to like support these events that they're hosting, but we necessarily can't be there, but we want to support in some way. So it's just hitting the greater developer community in what they're building, what they're doing on the weekends, what they're doing on a Thursday night, some event, and it's just like supporting them in that type of way.
Yeah, I actually, like, again, going back to that funnel like diagram, I like to equate that back to like a traditional marketing funnel for those that know of that. So basically it's like top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom of funnel. And yeah, even though I would say both of our roles and our teams overlap greatly with each other, I think having that clear division of like developer community being like that top of funnel, getting everyone to come in and know more about Vercel and that Vercel exists, because even though in the like X universe it seems like everyone knows what Vercel is, I was literally, actually this was really interesting, just like a quick story. I was hosting a couple of like personal dinners recently, and I was also invited to some dinners, and I invited literally everybody I knew, and people brought other people as well. And as I was talking about what I work on and Vercel, I realized that actually not everyone knows Vercel. So I had to re-explain. And I was like, this is actually new, because normally I'm in spaces where as soon as I say Vercel, people are like, oh, I know the company you work for. I know your products. I get it. So yeah, like the work that you're doing, Cap, is super vital to make sure that everyone knows like, oh, Vercel exists. But yeah, from my kind of like team perspective, so I take care of what we are calling internally like the customer community. And as I said, that is our community platform that you're all engaging on right now. And we are currently a team of 4, including myself, where we wherever there's any kind of discussion about the Vercel ecosystem and they land in this community platform, my team are on it. They are there to help support you and make sure that you're successful on Vercel. But we've also started to expand on other platforms. So you will see, you may see me, Amy, Jacob, Anshuman on Reddit, also on X, and even just today, LinkedIn. So we are everywhere to answer questions and help you be as successful as you can be on Vercel. And yeah, so that kind of like focuses more on that like middle and bottom of funnel, because that is where customers then ask like, cool, I know Vercel, but how do I do X, Y, Z? And that's where we come in and support. So yeah, some really great engagement here in the chat. If you do have any questions on what we just shared there, let us know. So Cap, how, some people may be wondering, how do these teams collaborate? Like, how does your team collaborate with other areas of the org, and how do we collaborate too?
So we have a weekly one-on-one.
Important.
That's how we collaborate.
Yeah.
But that's just like the joy of Vercel. That's what I've really liked about working here is you have to work with other teams. And like I work a lot with the engineering teams and I work a lot with billing and finance, to get sponsorships out or to answer a question or whatever it is. So my day to day is constantly with other teams, um, which is quite a joy for me because before I joined Vercel, they were always just like my heroes. Like, oh my gosh, I get to work with Tim Newton. It's like, this is crazy. And it's just been a joy to be on the inside and realize that you should meet your heroes because they are cool. They're the best. But on a daily basis, it is making sure that the community is supported always. And that requires a full team effort, that it requires the whole company.
Definitely. Same team. I would say exactly the same over here. Like, I feel like because the Vercel community, like community.vercel.com, is literally a hub for all of our Vercel discussions. We get all sorts of questions that drop in there, whether it's the AI SDK, V0, Next.js, observability, the firewall. We see everything. So my team's responsibility is to pass that on to the right like product areas. So that's kind of what we primarily, I would say, the teams that we collaborate with, but also go to market. So my team actually is under the go-to-market org, whereas Cap is in engineering and product. And so I work a lot with our go-to-market teams to make sure that our customers and prospects know that this space exists for them to learn from other customers and really be that voice of the customer. So yeah, we just work with everyone. And I think that's a really unique thing with community, right? Like, it's just one of those like roles where you have to get to know a bit of like every single role to like collaborate with those people. Yeah.
So this is not our first community role, either one of us. So how has it been different for you being here compared to like other communities you've built?
Love this question. I would say, compared to other companies, I think the thing that really stood out for me was the scale, like the sheer scale. I guess like going into the Vercel community, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna just be like another one that I've done in the past, but it's really not because, as I said, we have quite a varied product line. And we have all sorts of incredible features that our customers are using in lots of different creative ways. And so I think it's honestly the scale. It's like
Mhm.
learning as much as I can about the product so that I can be able to talk to our customers and wider community as well as I can. And I think in my previous role, like leading community there, it was a lot easier because it was like one product. And also it was a smaller startup. So it was very much like, this is new. This is just one product. I can communicate this with people and I understand it like the back of my hand. But like with Vercel, I really had to be like, oh, I didn't even know this existed. I need to try this out to be able to talk to other customers about it. So yeah, for me, it's been the sheer scale. And as soon as I feel like I have a handle on it, I like take a week off and I'm like, oh no, there's all these new things that the team has shipped that I also need to get up to speed on, so I'm able to talk to people about it. So yeah, that's it for me. How about you?
Well, it's like going back to like how I describe the community, creative. We also have to be creative with how we approach this community because it is so vast. We're all over the world, and I've done worldwide communities. Like this isn't anything new, but it's a vast product offering that we also have. So not only is it worldwide, but it's, are you interested in Next.js? Are you interested in V0? Are you interested in Vercel? Or like, what makes you tick? How can we find that for you? And so I've found that it's vast, and that allows us to be creative in how we handle each person in the community, because everyone has unique cases. Everyone has like a different bug. Everyone has a different solution they're trying to find. And it's been really fun to like keep up with the community in that aspect. Um, so we work a lot with like different levels of Vercel users. We have like the people who are on the hobby plan. We have people who are indie hackers, or we have people who are like enterprise devs. I know you work a lot with like enterprise devs. I work a lot with like the indie hacker. So have you seen any like challenges come up with the I really want you to lean in like the enterprise one because I can speak to the indie one, but like the enterprise one, because I actually don't know this. What are like the challenges that you see arise a lot with them?
I honestly think from like like our enterprise customers and even certain startups in the community, the main challenge is that everyone has a very different unique use case. So even though we have a vast like product offering where we can say, oh, have you tried this, have you tried that, there will be a customer in the enterprise community, or even like I said, bigger startups, where they have a very unique use case, and then we're just back to the drawing board where we're like, wait, we could say this and we could offer this kind of solution, but is that the right thing given their setup? And that's where we have certain teams like our technical consultant teams that can come in and be like, oh yeah, this is what we would recommend, because we've seen this kind of use case before. But I think because yeah, I'm sure you'll talk about it, the indie hackers and hobby developers are very different. They have very different, like maybe smaller use cases. I think for me, it was one of the key challenges was trying to get up to speed with how enterprise companies like think of Vercel and our offerings and kind of their regular enterprise challenges that maybe we hadn't even thought of yet.
Mhm.
So yeah, just as an FYI for everybody here, we have an enterprise like private community within this space. So if you're an enterprise customer, we have a small space just for you, and we have started to put content on there that's very specific to enterprise customers. And so if you are an enterprise customer listening right now and you're like, hey, I didn't know this space existed, well, if you go into the community.vercel.com and you're logged into your account, you should see an enterprise section there, and you can click through and look at some of the content that we have. And if you have any suggestions, let us know. But yeah, I would say that was the main challenges, but just getting up to speed with understanding that use case, because it's very different. But
Yeah.
yeah, how about from your perspective?
I feel like, and I know you said the opposite, but I feel like they're similar. I
Oh,
feel
really?
like enterprise and hobby or like indie hacker is like similar. Everyone wants their app to be the fastest. Everyone
Oh,
wants it to
yes.
be the most performant. Everyone wants everyone to come to their website. They want their usage to spike. Everyone wants that like viral effect. The 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 way indie hackers are a little bit different and unique is it's usually just them. And that's why I love the indie hacker because they're having to solve all the problems of the company, and the company may be 100 users versus 100,000 users for an enterprise account. But they're their end goal is the same. They want their users to have a great experience. They want no friction for that DX. And yeah, so I feel like they're similar. It's just vast users
Bigger.
versus, you
Yes.
know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then that's why, so I also lead the OSS program, and that's why I really love working with OSS maintainers is you're creating this product that may have minimal users or a lot, and you have the community also building it with you. And that's what makes open source so great is you have people putting in PRs that will change the way something's laid out because it just didn't feel right or a bug that needs to be fixed. And so now your community and your user base is not just people using your platform, but also people using your code. And I just appreciate all sides of
100%.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I actually want to quickly just answer a couple of questions that's thrown into the chat. So I'll just throw some in here. So Gabby, hi Gabby, nice to see you in
Hi,
the chat.
Gabby.
So a question that's come up here is, how do you both feel that short form content could be leveraged to further build community engagement at Vercel? Great question. Do you have any thoughts on that, Cap?
Short form is the way to go. Our attention spans are so small. Short form is the way while someone's scrolling on Twitter or on X, excuse me, someone scrolling on X, they see a 30-second clip and they learn something. Social and short form content, all of it is very fleeting. They see it once and they will probably forget it in 30 seconds. And that's why you continually create this content so that as they're scrolling, as they're looking at their stuff, they keep getting reminded, oh, Vercel can do this. Oh, Vercel can do that. Oh, Next.js can do this. And so it's that short form content in a continuous cycle that gets people into the community or get them to understand what Vercel is, even though it may not be on the first hit that you get them, but on the 50th, you know?
Yeah, no, totally. And I'm probably one of the, I don't know actually, because I'm in kind of a bubble, but I really like short form content for tech videos. So I'm on TikTok and I actually watch a lot of like tech TikTok videos, and it's it's interesting. It's very like fast. And I mean, if I want to dig deep a little bit, I then go to like YouTube where I
Yeah.
prefer that longer form content. I would actually say from like more of the like enterprise customers and also bigger startups in the community, I feel like these sessions that we've been hosting within the Vercel community have done really well because people like the long form content. They like having the streams where we have some Versalian from like a specific product area come on and like talk in depth
In
about
depth.
observability, for example. Yeah, and they prefer that because then they're like, oh yeah, I didn't know I could click all these different buttons in the UI. I didn't even know this tab existed. And so
Yep.
I feel like with those types of folks in our community, they prefer that content to short form. And we haven't really experimented much with short form content in the community, I don't
Yeah.
think, just
We
yet.
have
But
not. Yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting question. So another question that Jason has thrown in here is, what does the Vercel community engage with most as far as what the Vercel team creates? What does the Vercel community engage with most as far as what the Vercel team creates? Oh, I mean, do you mean like the products? I could say, if that's what you mean, Jason, from content wise.
Yeah.
So
Content wise.
what does your community like to see? Oh, okay. Um, so again, like I said, the long form content. So these like sessions where we have an engineer or PM jump on and just talk at length, like, oh, this is how this works. People really enjoy that. And we've done a couple of them. For example, Malavika, she's a PM at Vercel, and she used to be the PM for the firewall. She's done a couple of sessions here in the community, and they've always been a hit. Even if it's like the same kind of content, it's or like an iteration of it, it's done really, really well. So I would say that that's something.
Most of the content I do is in person. So at events like a talk or a panel. And I have found that the community loves a good panel, a good Q&A panel where they can ask questions to the people at the front. And I usually like to stack it with like Vercelians. We have one coming up at the end of the month with G in London, and it's just a nice little panel AMA type thing, you know. But I have found that that's what the community likes the most is the panels where it is free form. They can find out what their specific needs are in that moment.
Can I also say, like, in addition to your meetups, Cap, I've really enjoyed, as I would say, I'm part of the Vercel community no matter what, not just like leading it and stuff, but like I loved the videos that you've created for the like summaries of the meetups, because I think like showcasing that there's actual people in our community and not just floating icons is always like a smash hit. Because I think people forget that these days because we're always like talking to people online, especially like my team and what we do. We're mostly like online, like making sure everyone is like answered. Sometimes we forget that in-person energy, and the summary videos that you've done have been like really good. I like this content. Like that's what I like to watch.
I've made Pauline do some really cheesy things on those videos where it's like, "Come on in," and I'm like recording her as I walk in. Like,
There was the
great
New
clip.
York one. You should
Yeah, that
see
was
that one. We're just like
yeah.
super robotic. No, that was
No,
great.
we looked great. We were
No, that
not we
was
were
fantastic. Love that. Amazing. So we have a bit more time, I would say like around 10 more minutes. So if anyone has any more questions, drop them in the chat. I think we will, I'll just move on to like community building in general questions, because I know both of us come from a very community led background, and I'm sure people are curious about our experience there. So Cap, what do you personally think makes a great community?
um authenticity. You have to be authentic. You have to care like from from the company side of things, you have to care about the product you are advocating for. If you don't, the community will see right through that. And then on the other side of things, the community, they're they're authentic in their building, and they want people to like come to their app not because they're greedy, but because they really think that this would benefit everyone. So the authenticity of I care about what I'm building, I care about what I'm talking about. That's what like fuels a great community in my experience is people truly caring about the thing that they are talking about. And it's not a robotic
Queen's Wave.
Queen's
Actually,
wave.
Jason just added to the chat and said authenticity is the main pillar on both sides. So the team and the people in the community, which is spot on. And I would say that I have to say, Cap, you are so authentic, and that's why
You
what
too. You too.
and that's what makes the the community great. I totally agree that that's an important pillar. I think for me, it's like community has always been like just not just bringing people together on the product or the tech or whatever it is, like bringing people together in that sense, but also like I like to focus these days on the people aspect and like building those relationships with individuals. So, for example, everyone in this chat right now, we have interacted with them in some way, in some form or the other, whether it's answering a question in the community forum or going to an in-person event or engaging with them on X. I just love that, like building that relationship, like one-on-one with people. And another thing that we do in the community forum is that we have a hiring discussions post every month, and I've really enjoyed people like jumping on there, posting, "Hey, I'm looking for a new role," or "I'm looking for a Vercel expert," and then just seeing the connections happen. I think the biggest like success story for me there is I had a recruiter tell me on LinkedIn that they look forward to those hiring discussions because that's where they actually keep an eye out on like finding someone. And they've actually connected with a couple of people on there to help like link them up to whatever job that they're recruiting for, which is incredible. That's exactly what we need to use community spaces for. Like, it's about the people. It's like, obviously we are helping them understand our products, but also I want them to also walk away and be like, actually the Vercel community helped me advance my career or help me land a job, and things like that. So it's really that people aspect. Oh, Amy has shared that in the chat now, so if anyone wants to have a look at that, and maybe if you're looking for a new role, drop it in the post.
Well, to follow
Awesome.
up real quick,
Yeah.
these are our friends. Like, the people in the community, whether we interact with you online or in person, like, we, like, truly care about what you're building and what you're, like, working on. Like, this isn't, like, it's truly authentic, it's truly, like, and it's not just, "Oh, you're building something cool, I helped you, I'm in and I'm out." Like, these are our friends, you know, and we just want you all to just succeed and do great things and build the next Google, I don't know, but
Yeah, we want to
we're
support that.
cheering you on for
Yeah.
forever.
100%. And you can become like, lifelong community members as well. And that's part of that. Amazing. And so the next question, I think I will leave this as the final question for this section, because I know we are running out of time. If anyone does have any more questions, drop them in the chat and we will prioritize them. But something that has come up time and time again, and it's a topic I'm currently obsessing about, and that is, how would you measure success in community beyond the numbers? And I guess just general metrics, if you want to share any of that.
So, I'm gonna say the word that everyone might cringe a little bit, but the vibes. And how do you figure out if the vibes are good in a community? It's what the people in the community are saying. So I love feedback. I love people coming to me and saying, "Hey, this is really great, but it can be improved this way." Or, "I didn't really like this. Can we do it a different way?" Or, "That was the best. Don't change anything." And so it's always like the vibes. It's what you all are telling us and saying, because it's all about the DX, it's all about the UX, you know? Are you having a great time, not just using the product, but in the community? Are you feeling supported? Is this the right way for us to support you? So I measure success by how the vibes are, what the people are saying to me, and it just feedback is so important. So keep the feedback coming. Thanks, y'all.
And I would say vibes are immaculate. I'm so sorry for people in the chat that were like, please don't say that. But the vibes are every single event that I've been to, that's run by UCAP, it's been always like vibes are great. I would say, just like to add on there, like vibes are super important, and it's one of the things that we look for as well in the online space. So we have like some sentiment analysis to make sure that people, like how people are feeling when we like announce a new product feature or a new change in our billing or anything like that. So we like monitor that kind of stuff, and that is for us, like we can see the vibes from there. And I have to say, we, not just in our platform but also like on X and on LinkedIn and Reddit, we also like monitor sentiment there. And I have to say, like, since like a year ago, we've gone from like, we've really pushed it up to more of a positive trend, which is great to see. And that's shares a story of like, once we started building out the community team a little bit more, people can see that we are putting a lot of care in this space. And, I think it's so easy for people just to rant on X or like whatever platform, be like, I hate this, you should fix this, I hate this. But I think once we really put the people in front of those folks to say, oh yeah, just to remind people, there's people behind the screen actually caring and building this product, and we are listening to everything. So yeah, sentiment is something that we look at, but also growth. So from my team, one of the main factors that keep this community space alive is it growing? week after week. And I have to say, just looping back to what I said earlier, Vercel is one of those communities that you feel like, okay, I've got a handle on it, but it just keeps growing, especially with our product maturing. For example, when we added V0, now a lot of our Vercel community is V0 folks from all walks of life, and that is always really exciting. So yeah, that's another thing that we have been looking at. But as I said, metrics has been something I've been obsessing over. So if anyone ever wants to have like a one-on-one discussion about that, I can share, because I am just on that right now. Awesome. So if there's nothing else you'd like to add to that, Cap, I will take some questions from the chat. So one thing that has popped up here is, what global tech hubs outside New York, San Francisco, New York and San Francisco is Vercel targeting for in-person events?
So Germany and Poland are blowing up right now. They've been blowing up, but now it's like, oh, we should really be there. So we're in Poland a lot this month, right now. We are right now. There's a bunch of us out there. Poland, Germany, like Munich is growing. Berlin's always kind of been there. Outside of NYC, SF, London is also a really, really big one. And Japan is also a big one. So those are like the ones that we've kind of been focusing on, and we've seen great success. There's a lot of really cool devs in the world, and especially in these spots.
And is there any other, like you mentioned Poland, we have a couple of events coming up there. Is there anywhere else in those hubs that we should be aware of events coming up?
So we have London, we have a bunch coming up. We have a V01 happening in November. Keep an eye on the calendar, the events calendar in the community. We have one at the end of September where it's with 11 labs, and we're doing like a Q&A panel, like I said, with G and Nico, who is like the AI SDK wizard. He will also be giving a talk. And then in Poland, we have an event going on. Well, it's not our event, but we're sponsoring it and we're speaking at it and we're doing a meetup there. But React Universe Conf. And then Berlin is in talks. Something will come. Germany is just really hot right now. And then, yeah.
They're really exciting. As you said, if the best place for people to find this information is in our community calendar, so definitely check that out. And also on X, we will be very loud about it.
Yeah. And then, but like outside of, so we have in-person stuff, but like, where do you see developer communities heading in the next few years? Online and in person, because things are changing. AI is making things a little different. So where do you see it going?
I love this question. It's so just I'm gonna do like a quick plug. So in June, I actually gave a talk in Zurich at the Cloud Native Zurich conference, and I gave a talk on, is there space for AI in communities? And you can go into that. I can send a link after this if anyone wants to watch it. But it's just 30 minutes of me explaining like the story of the Vercel community platform and where we are headed, especially as we embed AI into the space. But yeah, the reason I love this question is because I was the biggest AI hater. Like, actually, there's probably like videos of me doing interviews where I'm like, what's the point of AI? I don't get it. In the early days,
Pauline.
I know it's like controversial, but like I have to say my opinion has drastically changed, especially as I've been using AI to in my everyday workflow and also embedded in the community. But I think because because AI is kind of like taking over these like online spaces, and by that I mean from the Vercel community standpoint, we are not sending automated responses to folks. We are using AI for knowledge retrieval so that everyone in my team can quickly find the information and get an answer to you sooner. But that by no means, like, we're not adding bots everywhere so that it's all automated, because I feel like that is basically the death of a community. But with a quicker knowledge retrieval, that means that my team have a bit more time to focus on what's important. So that is building relationships with community members, rewarding them, building initiatives on top of the platform. So live sessions like these with our customers, with Vercelians, with everyone, like we have more time to dedicate to that, because one of my main missions in this space was not to have another asynchronous forum where people just throw questions and we answer them, but really to bring it to life and remind people that there are faces behind Vercel. We're not just like, you know, static avatars that you can just tag and just be like, help me, you know. So yeah, I think the way communities are changing will actually make us more human. Even though the more we add AI on top of it, it may feel like, oh, we're automating everything. We don't need like a whole community team, or we don't need these people. I actually would argue we need people more than ever in these spaces, because at the end of the day as well, if you actually have questions about like how you work, how your app works, or like you have an error, you can actually use V0 for it. You can go to V0 right now and just be like, help, I need help with this. Or you can even go to ChatGPT or whatever. But at the end of the day, we've noticed that a lot of people that end up in our community spaces are those who are like, oh, I already asked an AI and I still didn't get an answer. And then that's when we can come in and be like, did you try this? Did you like look at this? Or we try to replicate it, and then it's a little bit more like obvious to us. So yeah, I would say, like, in that long-winded response, I would say that it's super exciting that AI is being integrated, because we can work on getting knowledge to people faster, but then people, kind of the people aspect is becoming more and more important.
And
So yeah.
that is like transferring to like in-person stuff. That is so true, because as AI takes over more, people crave that like in-person interaction, and that's where meetups, hackathons, conferences come in. So I don't think we'll have a lull in events, because we always want to get together. We always want to like get with our friends and hang out and talk about tech things, you know. Um, but it's the more AI comes in, the more human interaction is important, and I don't think that will go away.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, a couple of questions have popped up. I can see some on X as well. So I will just throw in some questions. Do you have a model you follow for how Vercel engages community? Cap, do you have any thoughts on that one?
So the community's very large, and there are different ways to interact with them. The way I model it is I find the problem that needs a solution. So for example, I'll use the OSS program. Open source is amazing, and we wanted to support them. How do we support them? We created a program that gives them credits. I went out and talked to companies and found third-party credits, so they don't have to worry about their bill while they're building open source. And creating little like extra things for them, but it's all about like finding that section of the community and finding what they need the most and building on that. For the worldwide community, they want to get together, they want to have events, they want us to host a meetup for them and let all of them join for 3 hours and talk about tech. So it's finding that problem and filling that with a solution. And that's where like the Meetup SDK comes in, or our own events. So there's not like a specific model, but it's more, where are you? Where do we need to meet you? And we'll find a way.
100%. And I would say, like, in our online space, I think the model that we follow in my team is mostly our code of conduct. So honestly, just be nice to each other in this space. Obviously, we want to welcome as much of your feedback as possible, and you know, any of your thoughts and how we can improve the product and all of that. But yeah, just be nice to each other. That's kind of the model we follow. You know, we create this space, we invite people in, just be nice to each other, and then we are productive that way. Great. Another question that has popped into the chat is, oh, I guess this is, maybe you know this, Cap. Have you considered a chat with docs on the Vercel doc page? Do you know much about that?
Uh,
I don't. So, oh,
I'll just do that.
okay. You may find out more soon, Joe.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for asking.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Cool. Hayden in the chat has asked, "What is your Hawaiian phrase of the day, Cap?"
Ooh. Well, okay. This isn't a phrase, but it's a word that I recently taught my children. Um, so it's also an airline. So mokulele is the name for an airplane. There's an airline in Hawaii called Mokulele Airlines. So they're just called airplane airlines. That's the
Wow,
literal translation. But whenever you see an airplane, just say Mokulele. That's
I
what it
love
is.
that. So they are
That's
like,
what me and my kids have been doing.
love it. Like,
Oh,
oh,
and
challenge.
a little extra like Hawaiian tidbit when we're on airplanes. The the female on the back of the Hawaiian Airlines, her name is Pualani, which Pua is flower in Hawaiian, and Lani is like heavenly. So it's like a heavenly flower. That's what her name is, Pualani.
Wow. I There you go, everyone. I expect
Yeah.
everyone who's tuning in to
Remember
see that
that. I'm
now
gonna
and
quiz
remember
all of you in 6 months. Pualani and Mokulele.
I love that. Makes me want to actually like learn something. I guess I could share. I've been relearning Greek, and a phrase that we say the Greeks say at the start of the month is "kalomina," which means "have a good month." And since it's the start of September, "kalomina," everyone. Um,
Kalomina.
Awesome. So, Cap, actually, whilst we wrap up here, we've had some great questions, but I know that a lot of people tuning in are super excited about the open source program that you launched. But just in case people don't know what that is, do you want to share a little bit about it and how's it going?
Yeah, so I started it 4 or 5 months ago, and the idea is we bring people in cohort waves, but you're in for an entire year. So every 3 months, applications are open. If you have an open source project and you wanna get into the program, applications for fall cohort open in October, and oh, thanks, Amy, for the link. And, um, yeah, so next cohort opens, but once you're in the cohort, it's not just for 3 months, it's for 12 months. You're in for an entire year. So we are 2 cohorts in. We have spring and summer active, and we just relaunched, or not relaunched, we are launching open source stories. It is a weekly live session where I talk to one of the program members in the open source program about their project and why open source, and tell us about what your project solves for the community and what it's like being an open source maintainer, because I know a lot of us rely on these projects and these npm packages and these maintainers, and so I want to talk to them and see what it's like on that side building an open source project. So Monday is our first one. We're going to have Ryan Vogel on. He is doing an email open source project called Inbound. So we will talk to him about that. We'll have it for a season. We'll do, I think, 8 weeks. So season 1 starts on Monday, open source stories. Definitely tune in. It'll be here at the community.vercel.com is where you can find it under the events. So
Yes,
see you
and
there.
Amy's on the chat, so maybe she can pull up the open source categories and just showcase all of the sessions that we have coming up. But yeah, again, it'll be in the same kind of format. So if you want to engage in the chat and ask questions live, we can do that on there too. But I'm so excited for this because this is exactly what we are all about at Vercel, to highlight those stories for the web. So that's great. Amazing. Amy's just thrown that in there. So you can go through all those events, everyone, and you can just click going right now so you don't miss them. But I'm very excited about that. So Cap, as we actually wrap up now, I think one of the final questions I'd love for us to just talk about is just a quick fire question is, so you've been here at Vercel now for almost a year. What would you say your favorite community moment has been so far at Vercel? There's loads to choose from as well. Really,
That's hard to pick.
really there, yeah.
Okay, there was one where it has to do with open source. There was an open source project. It was a Sunday, and I was getting pinged like crazy. DMs on Twitter, notifications on Twitter, X, and then on Slack, and just everyone was like, "Cap, we got to help them." And there was a community member that was reaching their limits, but it was a project that everyone was using, and so they really needed some support from us. And so I reached out via DM, and we got them. They're now in the program, but it was really, really neat seeing the community come together for this open source project. It's something that everyone uses. They were reaching their limits and they needed some help, and the community rallied. I mean, I don't know if it would have played out the way it did unless the community stepped up in the way that they did. There was hundreds of pings and messages that I received that day about this project and this tweet. So it was really fun to see the community come together. That's probably one of my favorites. What about you?
I remember that as well. I remember seeing it and being like, "Oh, okay, it's one of those days at Vercel," but it's definitely memorable.
Yeah.
I have so many. I'm actually like struggling to like choose from them. I guess like um I think it has to be around December. So I think he may be in the audience actually. So Jono, one of our very active community members, we asked him to join our very first community live session. So what we're doing right now. That was all the way in December, and it was honestly just a concept. And at that point, we were like, we just want to bring some life into this online space, and we just need to have people's faces on here. We need to highlight people's stories, showcase what they're building on Vercel. And I remember sending that message to Jono and being like, "Hey, would you be open for it?" And he was like, "Of course, I could talk about how we're using Vercel on everything." And he was just super enthusiastic. And I think that was such a highlight for me because after that, we kept doing it and we haven't stopped. But since December, so we actually started with once a month. That quickly became like a weekly thing, and I have to give Amy Egan in the chat in my team a huge shout out because she like carried a lot of this. Like it was an idea. I was like, we should do this, and then I set up the first one, and I kind of like roped her into it, and now like she leads a lot of these in the space, and it's just really great to again showcase the people behind the community and the people behind Vercel, because we're not just talking to customers, but also people like Versalians, people who work at Vercel. So yeah, really, I want to say that is probably my favorite community moment because now everyone is using the infrastructure that we set up in the community, as yourself, with the open source stories, but we also have the V0 team utilizing the space. And again, it's honestly the whole definition of community. Like we create the space, everyone can come in and just join and see where it lands, basically. So yeah, I would say that's like been a highlight for me. And I guess like just a very quick one, building the team. I mean, we have a cracked community team, and I'm just super excited and grateful that I get to work with the folks that I work with. So yeah. Amazing. Anything else you want to add? We are close to time, and I don't see any more questions in the chat.
I always have a final question.
Oh, love that. Let's go.
You know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
know
do.
what it is.
Go on, ask it.
And I don't want to hear just from Pauline. I want to hear from the chat as well. So, Pauline and chat, what is your favorite dessert?
I said this in London, so anyone who's tuning in and also went to the London meetup, it is tiramisu. And I've actually like had some homemade ones recently. Incredible. And now I'm gonna make my own and be like the top chef of tiramisu.
Top Chef, Pauline. Guinness Book of World Records, best tiramisu by Pauline. We're like, we knew it. We knew her first.
Oh,
Um,
some good ones in the chat.
that's
Just
legit.
chocolate.
What kind of chocolate? Dark chocolate? Milk
Chocolate
chocolate?
cake with choco frosting and choco fudge.
Oh,
Ooh,
chocolate. Okay, any
that's
chocolate.
very chocolate. Yeah.
Mine changes. It used to be key lime pie, but key lime pie can't be green. otherwise it's artificially colored. It has to be like a almost a yellow even. Um, but I've really been liking carrot cake lately.
Oh,
It's just like getting a little colder and like carrot cake is like the vibe.
this is controversial, but I don't actually like any cake that's not chocolate cake. Because
Is
like
cheesecake cake to you?
that's cake and that doesn't
Okay.
make any sense. Sorry, everyone.
I love cheesecake.
No, I don't like cheesecake. I don't like lemon cake. I don't like whatever. Why would you do that? A cake is a chocolate cake.
Okay, but that works because I'll eat all the cake and you have all the other desserts because I like cake.
Checks out. I love that.
So
There you go.
we can get dessert
We
together.
just complete each other in all the ways.
Yeah.
Amazing. Cool. Well, we have reached the end of the session, and I love how everyone's talking about dessert now in the chat.
That's what I asked for. So it's
I love
great.
that. Fantastic. But yeah, I just
Dessert.
wanted to say, as like just to wrap up, again, definitely join us here again in the community for next week's open source stories. We also have a V0 announcement happening next week, and you can find all of the details here in our community events calendar. But again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and thank you, Cap. This was amazing. We should do this more often.
This was fun. And the
Yeah.
chat, you all were great. So fun.
Thank you, everyone, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.